changes.
Oh, there it is. Got it. Okay, great. Okay. All right. I think we are ready to go. Good evening, everyone. Apologies for our tardiness, but the hour of 7 p.m. having arrived and passed, I call to order the legislative meeting for the Woodland Hills School Board for the month of August 2020. Ms. Hawthorne, will you call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Graves?
Present.
Ms. Ellickson?
Present.
Ms. Lawson?
Present.
Ms. Curry?
Here.
Mr. Belmont?
Here.
Ms. Scott?
Here.
Ms. Hodge?
Here.
Mr. Patterson? Ms. Glasser?
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Having technical difficulties.
Please also recognize a moment of silence as we express our condolences to Lynn Bell, specialist at the Woodland Hills School District, on the passing of her husband, Mr. James Bell, passed away on August 14th, 2020. Thank you. We will accept the minutes from the legislative meeting in July, along with the special meeting minutes. Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions, corrections, additions to the minutes? Hearing none, Ms. Hawthorne would take the vote.
Mr. Graves? Ms. Ellickson?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Ms. Hawthorne, I believe we are all prepared to vote electronically if you're able to do that.
Okay, so we just have to do it individually.
Okay, so we'll be doing voice votes for everything?
No, we'll do voice votes for the rest of the agenda. And I'm sorry, we'll do electronic votes for the rest of the agenda.
Very good. Okay. Excellent. The board met in executive session immediately preceding this meeting to discuss legal personnel and school safety matters as permitted by law. Mr. Harris, are there announcements?
Yes. Just want to inform everyone that we are slowly getting ramped up.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? We're getting quite an echo on your microphone. Can we?
You guys got to mute. Okay, how about now?
That sounds better to me.
Okay. I'm not by myself in a room today. Okay, we are getting ramped up for back to school. So that means we are doing Chromebook and workbook distribution at our schools. So please go to our home page. You'll see the link. It is done by building and by last name. So go to our home page, go under news, and you will see your school. Please click on that link, and you will see the date and the times that we are doing distribution for this week. And we will be good to go. For example, Edgewood tomorrow starts at 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Last names beginning with S and Z. They have extended hours from 3 to 6 p.m. The high school tomorrow starts at 8 a.m. With A to L, and 1 to 5 is M to Z for grade 10. Wilkins starts tomorrow at 9 a.m. Last names beginning with S to Z, ending at 3 p.m., but they also have extended hours tomorrow, 3 to 7 p.m. Turtle Creek It starts at 9 a.m. tomorrow to 2, and its last names beginning with S to Z, no extended hours. And Dixon Preparatory STEAM Academy, last names beginning with S to Z, starts at 10 a.m., ending at 3, with extended hours from 3 to 7. Once again, just go to our website and you will see the same information along with a map of the school, and it tells you which door to go into and where you have to go. So that's all I have.
Okay. Other announcements? Okay. Hearing none. I don't believe we have student speakers this evening. I don't believe there are any presentations. Is that correct, Mr. Harris?
No presentations.
Okay, great. We do have one registered speaker, according to my notes, Ms. Marchbank, and I did hear you earlier. As a reminder, speakers are invited to share remarks up to 2 minutes. Please give your name and address of residence before beginning your remarks. Any questions posed will be addressed following the meeting. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Maria Marchbank. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have a daughter starting in the 12th grade, her 4th year at Westinghouse Arts Academy Charter in Wilmerding. This year, now in the midst of a pandemic, a horrible crisis, the Woodland Hills School District and First Student Bus Garage decided to try to force the students of Westinghouse Arts Academy Charter and other charter schools to use Port Authority busing. Westinghouse Arts Academy deserves the same safety measures and protection in place as Woodland Hills School Districts, and no less. Woodland Hills School District is not using those buses right now to start out the year since they're using a remote learning plan. We have 40 or more students going from Woodland Hills School District to Westinghouse Arts. I don't know how many will be using those buses, but there are many of them that need the bus for transport. And right now, according to the Tribune Review, there's 39 positive Port Authority employees who have tested positive. And with exposure to passengers, the risk factors will be greatly increased. And at school, when they're asked safety questions, they can't even answer those because they've been in contact with a multitude of strangers. This increases risk to the students, the staff, the families, and the community, and makes Westinghouse Arts Academy plan for protection almost undoable. There's a better way, and you know it's the right thing to do. The reason you're having this meeting virtual tonight is because you want to minimize exposure, adhere to safety protocol, and protect everyone, the students and faculty and community. Now, all the student safety plans and coordinating cannot be disregarded when we're talking about Westinghouse Arts students because, they get bus passes. Your own plan quotes the Woodland Hills School District's committed to supporting the safety and well-being of our employees, students, and communities in which we serve as we continue to navigate through the pandemic health crisis together. You have an obligation to do your part to protect all the kids in the community from this horrible, deadly disease before it becomes a reality in any school. On March 3rd, there were 73 COVID cases. Now there's 5.4 million. The bus garage, in the meantime, is providing buses for Sarah kids and not to the charter schools.
Thank you, Ms. Marchbank. We'll continue to discuss. Appreciate your emails as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And Mr. Harris, that moves us into board matters.
Okay. And we're going just item by item, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Board matters 2.1, first reading of policy 006.1, volume 2, attendance at meetings with electronic communication.
We had intended to do this as a first and final reading, I believe. Is that still the case, or do we need more time to evaluate it?
There is an update that was done by our solicitor, so this could be a first and final reading based on the change of language.
Yes, if I could add something, Jamie, I would probably, I would suggest that as presented, policy 006.1 is fine, except that in the second paragraph under authority, in the second line, it says school directors shall be able to attend a board meeting and participate in board deliberations and voting through electronic communications, but only under extraordinary circumstances. based on language I've used elsewhere, I would change extraordinary to compelling. I mean, extraordinary entails extraordinary situations, but I think compelling, while places a little bit of a high bar, it's not an unreasonable bar. That is my first suggestion on that. Also, I would, under guidelines in the second paragraph, it says a majority of school directors shall be physically present at a board meeting when a school director attends through electronic communications. I think that that should be struck because, again, even though there's language in this policy that talks about emergencies, during this last pandemic, there was a few weeks when there technically wasn't an emergency, and quite frankly, a lot of municipalities and schools were in knots over language that said that a majority of the board still had to be there, even though a formal emergency had not been declared. Given that, and also the fact that we want to give ourselves reasonable flexibility, I recommend that the second paragraph under the guidelines that I just mentioned be struck. So again, based on what I've mentioned, I would say we could pass policy 006.1 with the amendments that I have set forth.
Okay, so let's do it this way. Is the board prepared to make a motion on that?
So moved.
As Mr. Belmont, is that moved as amended by with the solicitor's suggestions?
That is correct.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion on the proposed. I have a motion on the item as amended by Mr. Belmont with a second by Ms. Hodge. Any questions or discussion from the board on that?
I have a question.
Okay, Ms. Ellington.
Sorry, I'm getting some feedback here. So to clarify for Mr. Vogel, this would mean, like in my case, I have some medical conditions, like we're just covered altogether. So if we can't physically be there, video is fine no matter what happens moving forward.
Yes, I think, and that would be something on a compelling circumstance. So, yes, that'd be my opinion.
Thanks, got it.
Okay. Any other questions?
James, is it okay for us to hold off on it and then vote on it when the language is actually within the policy of the corrections?
There, we can do that. Since there's a motion on the floor, I need a motion to table.
I make a motion to table.
Is there a second to the motion to table?
Second.
Okay. On the motion to table, Ms. Hawthorne, I apologize. We'll need a roll call vote.
Yes. Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Seligson,
Yeah.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes, motion to table carries unanimously. We'll put this back on for next month when we have the corrections.
And then can we just, at that point, Jane, can we have it as like second and final? I just like to say the language and read it.
Absolutely, we can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure thing. Okay. Mr. Harris, 2.2.
Okay, board matters 2.2. First reading of policy 103, volume 4, discrimination, title 9, sexual harassment affecting students. Any questions? Okay.
Hearing none, 2.3.
Okay, board matters 2.3, first reading of policy 104, volume 4, discrimination, title 9, sexual harassment affecting employees. Any questions? Okay. Board matters 2.4, first reading of policy 317.1, volume 4, educator misconduct. Any questions? Okay. Board Matters 2.5, first reading of Policy 335, Volume 2, Family Medical Leaves. Any questions? Okay. Board Matters 2.6, we seek approval of the 2020-2021 MOU between the Woodland Hills School District and the Churchill Borough Police Department.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this? Okay, I'll reiterate, as we did last week, that this is the agreement that we are required to have under state law regarding police interactions with the building. It is not a contract for police services or an SRO, as we have had in the past, but will no longer. But we do need to have this in place in order to govern any instances, hopefully rare, when a police officer is required to come to the building. So, any other questions or discussion?
And just that we have this for all of the areas where we have buildings. So it's not just Churchill, it's Swissvale and
That's correct.
Yes, and my understanding from Mr. Petrogallo, and he can comment on this if need be, but is that we'll need to update others as well in the near future. So we'll be seeing those, I believe, at some point as well.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions, discussions, points of note? Okay. Hearing none, Ms. Hawthorne, we'll take the vote.
Ms. Glasser, I am having technical difficulties with board docs right now. So unfortunately, I have to do a voice vote.
Okay. Roll call it is.
All righty. Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Seligson,
yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 2.7.
2.7, seeking permission to approve the second amended employment agreement between Woodland Hills School District and Michael Gigliotti.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Mr. Vogel, would this require executive session for discussion, or are we? Are there? I don't even know if there are questions, but would we be required to pop into executive for that? Okay.
I was muted. If we've gone to substantive discussion, yeah, that would be executive session.
Okay. Well, let's see this first. Are there any questions on this? Okay. Hearing none, I'll stop borrowing trouble and we can take the vote.
Okay. Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 2.8.
2.8, we seek approval of the letter of intent from J. Michael Ruffle Jr. to purchase tax parcel ID number 0541-A-000075-0000-00 and 0541-A-000075-0001-00 located and situated in Wilkins Township and the municipality of Penn Hills, subject to solicitor review.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this?
Just for the general public, Jamie, just to let folks know, this is the Eastmont property.
It is indeed. And I think we had the presentation from them at our facilities committee meeting in the earlier part of this month, and it looks like a very exciting development. So, any other questions, comments, discussion?
Just a technical one. Maybe I should even know the answer to this, but why? I guess part of the parcel is actually in Pin Hills. That doesn't make any sense.
Good.
Or is it just because of the zip?
I don't know the whole answer to that. I think my recollection, and I could be mistaken on this, it may always have been in Penn Hills, but my recollection is there was a border issue a few years ago with Wilkins and Penn Hills. I think it may have changed at that time to be a Penn Hills.
Yeah, like this. I know there's a sign that literally sits after the bridge, but that technically is still Wilkins. So I don't know.
I mean, apparently part of that parcel was subdivided at some point.
Yeah. So is that the language is in there just to be safe? I'm assuming.
That's my understanding. Yeah, Mr. Vogel, okay. Have comments if you know any more.
No, I understand that that property at one time was considered to be in Wilkins, and then through court order, part of it was in Penn Hills. So that's why it is the way it is.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'll just comment, Jamie, that when you have 130 municipalities in one county, you're bound to run into situations like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
More municipalities than any other county in the United States.
There you go. Fun facts. All right. But we do own both parcels, Mr. Vogel, regardless of the location of them.
Yes, that is true. I'm sorry. Yes.
That's okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 2.9.
Board Matters 2.9. We seek approval to accept a $2,000 donation from Mount Olive Baptist Church of Rankin to support the district technology. I also asked Mr. Samuels to join us this evening. He is the person from Mount Olive who is making this donation on behalf of the Police Grant.
Excellent. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Okay. Mr. Harris, do we have Mr. Samuels prepared to give us a little bit of background on what this,
Yes.
or the origin of this? That'd be great.
Just have to unmute, sir. Eddie, can you unmute him? Okay, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. In face of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Mount Olive Baptist Church of 334th Avenue, Rankin, under the direction of our then pastor, William Baker IV, and present Community Relations Director, Ms. Janae Gaines, received a Poise Foundation grant of $8,000 from the Critical Community Needs Funds to address critical needs arising from the COVID-19 crisis in the Allegheny and Beaver counties. The funds are to be used to support core operations of our church and to address community needs arising from the crisis in Allegheny County. The Mount Olive Baptist Church Joint Board voted to donate a portion of the funds to the Woodland Hill School District Technology Department to purchase laptops.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate that, and the generosity is much appreciated and well noted. Any other comments or questions?
Just a thank you.
I'm going to comment. I'm going to thank Mr. Samuels for considering Woodland Hills when they received the money. He has been a lifelong Woodland Hills resident, and I just really appreciate the donation, Mr. Samuels. Thank you.
what Terry said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again. Ms. Hawthorne, hearing no additional questions, let's take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Thank you, Mr. Simonson. Yes.
Mrs. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes, and thank you.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes, and thank
Ms. Hodge,
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes. Yes. Samuels.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes, thank you very much.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes, with many thanks. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to section 3.1.
Section 3.1 curriculum. We seek approval of the school improvement plans for Edgewood STEAM Academy, Turtle Creek STEAM Academy, and Dixon STEAM Academy.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions on the plans?
Mr. Harris, could you give the public just a general understanding of what these improvement plans are about?
Plans are from the state in which we have to meet certain requirements academically, and to make sure that we're fulfilling these areas, the plans were put together to look at various academic and attendance where we were falling short. We have two other plans for Wilkins and the high school, which was putting us under state watch, and we took those plans and we drilled down and saw that there were areas where we can improve in the other areas in our elementaries and middle school, and we adopted a lot of those same characteristics. So they're to help us move forward academically and also increase our standards. Dwight.
Thank you.
Other questions? Okay, hearing none, Ms. Hawthorne, let's take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson, Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes, motion carries unanimously.
Excuse me.
3.2.
Okay. 3.2, we seek permission to enter into a partnership with the AIU3 Overdrive Consortium to offer ebooks and audiobooks to all Woodland Hills School District scholars.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Mrs. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. 3.3.
3.3, curriculum. We seek permission to enter into a free memorandum of understanding with the Consortium for Public Education to offer a future readiness lab to 5 to 7 of our high school students.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. 3.4.
3.4 curriculum. We seek approval of the Woodland Hills School District 2020 through 2021 flexible instructional days application to submit to PDE.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Mrs. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser,
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to section 6, personnel, 6.1.
Personnel 6.1. Section A, authorized for leaves. Section B, authorization for retirement, resignation. Section C, authorization to hire professional staff. Section D, authorization to hire non-professional staff. Section F, authorization for EDR mentor actions. Section G, authorization for miscellaneous.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Is there a need for executive session to discuss any items in this? Okay, hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. I believe we have on the call at least one person who was included in that tab. Ms. Decker, congratulations and welcome.
Jamie, there are a few new teachers on. I can't identify them all, but there's a few. Ms. Decker is definitely one of them. Congratulations, Ms. Decker.
Thank you so much.
And anyone else who I'm missing at the moment? Trying to
Ms. Smith?
Ms. Smith?
congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. All the new teachers who are on the call, we appreciate your interest in working with Woodland Hills and we look forward to the great success you'll have with us. So thank you for that. Okay, that moves us to 6.2.
Okay, 6.2, we seek permission to hire Mr. Ronell Hurd as the high school assistant principal at a salary of $85,000, effective September 3rd, 2020.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Again, this would be a personnel item to go into executive. Any need for that at the moment? Hearing none, Ms. Hawthorne will take the vote.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Seligson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Again, Mr. Hurd is on the call. Congratulations, sir, and thank you for your interest in Woodland Hills. We look forward to working with you and to your additions to the high school.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome.
That moves us to 6.3.
Okay, 6.3, we seek approval to ratify payment of $1,000 each to two tech coaches, Jason Coleman and Justin Rodriguez, for their assistance in organizing summer school and credit recovery.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion?
I'd just like to thank the guys for all the work they're putting in and the rest of the crew. Without those guys keeping up on everything, we wouldn't be where we are. They're really keeping us prepared. Thank you.
There's a lot of technology work these days, so we do appreciate that, and it extends past the technology department as well. We have a lot of teachers putting in a lot of extra time, a lot of administrators putting in a lot of extra time, so we're grateful to all of them for that. And I think I can speak for everybody when I say that. So
yes, you can.
any other? Okay, hearing none, take the vote.
Ms. Alexson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. That moves us to section 9, transportation and food service. Mr. Harris, 9.1.
9.1, we seek approval of the 2020-2021 bus driver list.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Any questions or discussion on this? Ms. Niccolo, can I just tap you for a second to explain a little bit about the bus driver process and the significance of this list?
Yes. Every year we have to, by state law, pass an approved bus driver list before the school year begins. In essence, that list is just the people that we had at the end of last school year. We do not know until throughout this week and next how many bus drivers are actually returning, but we have to approve this list before the school year actually starts, hence voting on it tonight. It does not mean that all of those drivers are coming back. Many of the drivers are in the high-risk category, and many of them are not coming back. We are, at this point that I know of, close to 15 drivers who are not returning. And new drivers have not been onboarded because of all the closures and things during the summertime with PennDOT and obtaining CDL permits, testing, etc. As people apply now, they will be onboarded. But again, we have no guarantee yet of what drivers will actually be returning. But we have to approve this list per the state.
Okay. Any questions from board members?
I'd just like to follow up on Siobhan's comment and let people know that there is a chronic bus driver shortage across the United States each school year. So Siobhan's working hard to get the drivers that we need to fill the routes.
Anyone else have questions or comments? Hearing none, let's take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Alexson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge, Ms.
Yes.
Hodge, Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to 9.2.
9.2, we seek approval of the 2020-2021 school bus stops.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Belmont, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on the bus stops?
I have a question. It's more of a general, and I probably shouldn't open this can of worms, but I'll ask anyway. Out of all of our routes, how many do we have that are actually on the Port Authority bus passes?
We have a number of different schools. We have schools in, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. It's somewhere, but when we have, Oakland Catholic, Central Catholic, City High Charter, Propels, high schools, neighborhood, academy, that's, and a few people at Winchester Thurston. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. So it is a mix of schools, and it is basically high school students.
Okay. I know this is always like a common issue every year, but what's the likelihood? How complicated is this going to be in light of COVID? Because I know this is with one school and others, someone's always asking for maybe a physical bus to come back. And again, in light of the bus driver shortage and just in general, how difficult is this going to be? As far as if we couldn't bring back any actual buses to those other schools?
At this point, it is, we just keep reevaluating what we have, and as we get readings on, what drivers are actually returning and how we can mix those routes for schools within our own school district, we are able to use for 2 and 3 tiers of delivering, students, transporting them. With a number of the schools that are outside of the district, especially the high schools, if we were able to, if there was some availability on a route, it oftentimes is not doable because they are outside of the district, and so that bus cannot be used to deliver to other schools within the district. Now, for instance, like East Catholic closing, we always had buses delivering students to both East Catholic and Trinity. They shared those buses, but now that East Catholic has closed and those students have moved to places like Divine Mercy, St. Bede's, Sacred Heart, Mary of Nazareth, Mother of Sorrows, when we have to then put students onto different buses and go outside of the district, we can only use those buses for one school. So it really is changing the look and how we are able to allocate the vehicles because of a closure like that, or the opening of additional schools like Catalyst Charter School or Nazareth schools on the north side. That's an independent Catholic school. It's not part of the diocese. So it just really changes the face of how we are able to allocate students to buses and to schools. So until we actually know how many bus drivers that we will have, and the numbers are getting lower, the number that are coming back, it's unlikely to move anybody back onto a yellow bus.
Thank you. That was helpful.
So we're continuing to evaluate that, though. I mean, at this point, not a lot of optimism about that, but we're continuing to. It's an evolving situation. I think it is. Here we are. Okay. Questions on the bus stop list? Hearing none, take the vote.
Okay. Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Ms. Seligson?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to section 10, buildings and grounds.
Okay, 10.1, we seek ratification for the disposal of surplus furniture from the high school 100 hallway and 90 hallway and the administration office.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions on this? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 10.2.
10.2, we seek approval to surplus classroom desks and furniture from the intermediate school.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this? Is it still the intention, Mr. Harris, to open this up for people to take on this furniture if they want it?
Yes, a lot of folks have been asking if they could set up little home schools and classrooms in their homes and utilize our older desks. So, yes.
Okay, I'll get that word out when it's scheduled. All right, any other questions? Discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote.
Mr. Graves, Mrs. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Mr. Graves,
Yes again.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 10.3.
Okay, 10.3, we seek approval to dispose of surplus classroom and office furniture from Rankin.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Lawson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussions on this? Hearing none, take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 10.4.
10.4, we seek approval for sideline tree service to remove one maple tree and one pine oak tree from Edgewood Steam Academy. A little bit of $7,150 from General Fund 10.
So moved.
Second.
By Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on the tree removal? Hearing none, I'll take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Seligson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 10.5.
10.5, we seek approval for Caveman Signs and Graphics LLC to remove and dispose of flagpole at Dixon Middle Preparatory STEAM Academy at a total cost of $2,160 from the General Fund 10.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this?
I just had one quick question, Jamie, and I meant to bring this up last week and I forgot. Is there a reason that this is being paid for out of general fund and not related to the construction at that building?
Mr. Gigliotti?
Yes, it's not considered an improvement. So if it were part of replacement of the flagpole, it would have been a part of, and it could have come out of Fund 39, but it's strictly a demolition. It's not really an improvement, so it doesn't fit to use those funds. It has to come out of Fund 10.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mr. Gigliotti.
Yes.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
I did
Will
too.
the flagpole be replaced? Is there another one in this place?
Sorry, the question was, will it be replaced?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Finney?
Yes, the plan is to replace the flag, and we're looking at possibly putting it over by the bell, at the corner where the bell is.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Wait, you're removing a whole flagpole and relocating it?
No. The center concrete will sit in its place for like a sitting place, and the idea is to put the new flagpole over by the bell. That's the plan.
And the new flagpole will be able to come out of the construction funds.
Correct.
Just to be clear on this, the cause is that the current flagpole is a danger, correct?
Yes, the pole is steel, and it's very tall, and it's very heavy. And back in the day, when they did the concrete, there was no rebar put inside the concrete to hold it, and now the winds are getting worse and worse as the years go on, so that's why the concrete's cracking.
Okay.
So, Mr. Finney, on that base, did they skim coat that earlier, or with the new construction? It looks like new concrete.
Yes.
Relatively new concrete.
They tried to clean it up. We tried to preserve it, to keep it there because it's part of the history of the school. That was the whole idea. But afterwards, after reviewing it and looking further into it, it's best for us to remove it so it doesn't damage the school or kill somebody.
Understood. Thank you. I was just confused because I thought it looked like it had new concrete on it.
Yes, you're right. You're correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Erickson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. That moves to 10.6.
10.6, we seek approval for Bethlehem Wire and Fence to install a new 4-foot-high double swing gate at the rear of Wilkins Elementary. Team Academy make necessary repairs to gates and repair the railing in the back of the building at a cost of $3,594 from Capital Reserve Fund 32.
So moved.
Second.
By Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions on this item? Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Erickson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 10.7.
10.7, we seek approval for JB Seal Coating to provide service at Dixon Preparatory STEAM Academy rear parking lot, provided at a low bid of $4,500 from Capital Project Fund 39.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this? Hearing none, take the vote.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry? Ms. Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Ms. Seligson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 10.8.
10.8, approval of the Site Logic Pre-Construction Management Services Agreement for the Carnegie Free Library of Splitsville renovation project totaling $29,000 from Capital Projects Fund 39, pending solicitor review and approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this?
Can we have some details about this?
Yes, please.
Mr. Harris, Mr. Gigliotti, do you want to do that, or have?
Yes, this is all resulting from the renovation to the library. They've been doing work and providing services, so they just want to put a pre-construction agreement in place to cover the work they've been doing. It'll be for the conceptual estimate, the participating in field visits, some value engineering, what they usually been doing, construction documents and bidding assistance. So it's the normal stuff they've been providing to the other projects, and they have provided some preliminary work to the library already. So since they're doing the work, they would like to have an agreement in place.
I'm a little bit confused. I know the overall, at one point, estimate for improvements for the library was like $2 million. So I'm not quite clear where this figure is coming from.
What, $29,000?
Yeah, like what specifically have they been?
That's part of the that's part of the $1.5 million figure that is the renovation of the library. This is their fees for the work they've started already. They've been working on a project for about 3 or 4 months now, or since about February, when we really start getting into applying for the grant and everything. They have been right with us, providing us all the construction information. So
this is not renovations per se. This is the architectural engineering fees for
the pre-construction phase, which we're basically in right now. The design, helping with the design and grant application, the estimates. That's the big thing, the estimates. Providing the estimated cost on the selected items that were selected as part of the grant application and what the scope of the project's going to be right now.
Okay. Other questions? Okay, hearing none, take the vote.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Ms. Seligson?
Yeah.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to
10.9, we approval to engage McFarland, Kistler and Associates, Inc. as consultant on the Dixon Preparatory STEAM Academy food serving line modifications at a cost not to exceed $900 from capital project.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions on this?
I don't understand this. What is this? Why would this be different from what we typically provide?
This is the raising of the serving line in the cafeteria. The building was originally designed as an elementary school, and there was a lower serving line was installed. Now that it's a middle school, they didn't include it when they switched gear. You know, when we switched gears on them, this wasn't taken into consideration at the time. But during many of the board tours, there was been a lot of questions asked, and so now we're going to move forward with trying to come up with a scenario, a modification to raise that serving line so the kids wouldn't have to bend over, since they're middle school kids and they're taller now than the elementary kids. It was designed for. So we need them involved because they were the ones that designed the kitchen. They know the equipment and they know the health regulations. If there's any modifications that need to be made, we got to make sure that it complies with all the Allegheny County and state health regulations.
Thanks.
Other questions? Okay, hearing none, take the vote.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Ellickson,
Yes.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. That moves us to section 11, athletics.
11.1, athletics. We seek approval of the quote from Tally Sporting Goods for a pair of Quick Gold Premier Competition goals at a cost of $9,310 from Capital Project Fund 39.
Is there a motion?
So,
Second?
motion.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Ellickson,
Yes.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to section 14, school finance. 14.1.
14.1, we seek ratification of the bill list for invoices paid after the July 15, 2020 legislative meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on the ratification list? Hearing none, take the vote.
Ms. Ellickson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 14.2.
14.2, we seek approval of the August 2020 bill list.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions on the bill list? Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Erickson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 14.3.
14.3, we seek the acceptance of the July 2020 fund reports and student activity reports for informational purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions on the fund reports and activity reports? Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Erickson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 14.4.
14.4, we seek approval of the investment reports for July 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on the investment reports? Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Erickson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 14.5.
14.5, we seek approval of 2020 through 2021 interscholastic athletic accident insurance, $9,550, and the K-12 voluntary student accident insurance through Dinnan and Parkins Associates, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Erickson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. That moves us to section 15, superintendent. 15.1.
15.1, we seek approval of the Duquesne Light We seek approval of the Duquesne Light right-of-way agreement regarding a small portion of parcel 302-E-250.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this? Hearing none, we'll take the vote.
Mr. Graves,
Yes.
Ms. Erickson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
Ms. Hodge,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Yes.
Mr. Belmont,
Yes.
Ms. Glasser.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 15.2.
15.2, we seek permission to accept the MOU between the Woodland Hills School District and the Woodland Hills Education Association regarding the COVID-19 pandemic pending solicitor's approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion on this? Hearing none, take the vote.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Hodge?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Erickson?
Yes.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. 15.3.
15.3, we seek permission to accept the MOU between the Woodland Hills School District and the Woodland Hills Education Association regarding WOA pending solicitor's approval.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Lawson, second by Ms. Hodge. Questions or discussion? Hearing none, take the vote.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Ms. Erickson?
Yes.
Ms. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Ms. Hodge?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. And that moves us to old business. Is there any old business? Any new business? Okay, and hearing no new business, we have reports this evening, which were not present last week, so we do have committee reports. Before we get to that, though, I do want to note that we have an update from the Swissville Library, as we will have each month, at least that's the intention. There is in the board docs for everyone's review a copy of the plan to contact staff if there were to be a staff contact with COVID at the library. Their plan of action is there for review for members. In addition, September is Love Your Library Month. It is a fundraising drive, and funds collected this year will be applied to the library renovations. And during that period, donations are matched by the Jack Buncher Foundation in a proportional way. Right now, Swissville Library is open. It is among the 1/3 of Allegheny County public libraries that are open right now. Visits in Computer Town for 30 minutes, however, and patrons must wear masks and remain physically distanced. So far, there are between 30 and 50 patrons each day, and we're very excited that that's the case. Thank you to Brandon and her team, Dr. Coluccio and her team, rather, for the work they're doing at the library. It's exciting stuff. So we have that. In addition, we also have committee updates attached. Hopefully everyone can see those. Mr. Graves, do you want to give a brief overview of the Finance Committee?
Yes, Ms. Glasser. In the Finance Committee, we talked about the district cash and cash flow and what our outstanding balances are going to be, the payments of crossing guards and contract vendors as of June 30, 2020, the student accident insurance. We reviewed the independent finance office projections regarding COVID on how it's going to affect the school taxes. Our income projection declined 7.3%. We expect another real estate decline of 1.9%, and a delinquent collections of taxes of 10 to 20%. We didn't get, we're not going to get the same gambling revenue that we usually get because the casino was closed. So for the year, only 54 million collected from March to June so far.
Thank you. For technology, we were talking about the preparations for distribution for Chromebooks and new devices for students. As Mr. Harris noted at the top of the meeting, that's ongoing. We're going to be purchasing, we authorized last month the purchase of hotspots that students will have available in each building. In addition, there's foundations, the Katie Lynn McDowell Foundation, Best of the Batch Foundation are supplying additional hotspots. So we will have a total of, I believe, 175 available throughout the district, which is great news. Again, as Mr. Belmont noted earlier, the technology department is doing yeoman's work setting up accounts and programs for the year. So, Ms. Hodge, do you want to discuss the policy updates?
I'm sorry, I have too much background noise here.
Okay, I will take it off your hands. It was the policies that were this evening as first readings were discussed in the committee as well. So that's the sexual harassment for students, sexual harassment for staff, educator misconduct updates, family medical leave, which is a new policy for us. And the text of those policies is available on the agenda. Ms. Seligson, special education, people personnel.
Okay, so for special ed, the department discussed the plannings of the return of the students for full-time emotional support, autistic support, and life skill support. An 8-step plan was reviewed at the meeting with participants, and opportunity for questions were provided. For people personnel, we discussed the status of our school mental health partners, Family Links. All the buildings are county and state approved to provide services for our students.
Thank you. Ms. Curry, food service and transportation.
So food services grab and go sites will be opening on the first day of school. It'll be similar to what we had going on in the spring. And you want to watch for communication updates regarding locations and service times, which I don't believe are posted yet. I'm not sure when those will be on the website. Hopefully they can go out too as a robocall. Transportation, actively receiving updated roster enrollment forms from the 90 schools that we transport to. We're allocating available resources according to rosters, grade levels, IEP requirements, and driver availability. Communicating with the garages regarding drivers and monitor return to work updates, as Ms. Schwan was saying. Many fall within the high risk category and are not returning to work. Daily updates from schools regarding school opening dates and model of return, online, hybrid, in person. Not only daily updates, but yes, changing from day to day, the same school. So I'm sure that's frustrating. Mailing letters to non-district schools, district schools waiting on bus assignment letters after confirmation of actual driver run availability and updates. I believe those letters went out yesterday, the day before. I'm not even sure what day today is, but yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lawson, would you be willing to cover curriculum?
Sure. The curriculum committee met on August the 4th to discuss potential geometry pilot and receive a demonstration of Google Classroom. It was decided at that time that they would move forward with the geometry pilot as soon as it was feasible. That's either 2021 or 21-22. The Google Classroom demonstration was presented by an educator in the district, Miss Andrea Sisk. We also had conversations clarifying the education system used by the district, Power School, Schoology, and Google Classroom. So please see attached for information graphics.
Thank you. And that attachment is in the agenda for review. Mr. Belmont, athletics.
Sure. First topic covered was the health and safety guidelines per the PIAA, and coaches are keeping a folder of COVID-19 screening questions as well as temperature logs. Second point covered was the PIA stance on fall sports. After comments from Governor Wolf about recommendations of no sports until January 1st, the PIA postponed the beginning of fall sports until Monday, August 24th. It is their hope to get a meeting with the governor to gain clarity about his recommendations, as well as an approval to start sports. And finally, the WPIL stance on fall sports is going to follow whatever the PIA guidelines will be. And that's the extent of my report, and their intent is to play all sports if approved. Thank you.
Facilities. We had several presentations of facilities. We had the proposal from SiteLogic Reynolds about the Engineering Infectious Disease Protection Program. We had a discussion, we had the presentation from the Eastmont folks who want to develop that property. We got updates on construction at the high school and Dixon, some discussion about the improvements to the soccer field as well. We also talked a little bit about the Wolverino landslide and the Turtle Creek work that will be done as part of that improvement. So that is the update on committees. Which moves us to public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board at this time?
Yes, I would like to address the board.
Okay, if you have the raise hand function, that would be ideal. I'm sorry, I'm knowing who's.
Lori Marchbank.
Okay, Ms. Marchbank, the same rules apply as top of the meeting. You have 2 minutes to speak and be addressed following the conclusion of the meeting.
Okay, again, I would just like to implore with the school to do the right thing to protect our students just like you would your own students, and to protect the community. There's a lot of high-risk people in the community as well as at the schools, and by you putting us in the Port Authority buses, then it increases the risk to everybody involved. And I just think that there is a much better way, and that if there's busing, if you're not using the busing right now at this time, then those buses should be allocated to be used to get our kids safely to school as well. And if they can have buses for sports and other events, then they can try to work out busing to do the top priority, which would be to get our kids to school safe as well as your own.
Thank you. I also see there was a hand up. Ms. Reed, do you wish to speak?
Yes.
Per usual, please give your name, address, place of residence, and you have 2 minutes. Thank you for being here.
Okay. Yeah, Dornica Reed, 134 Leniki Street, Wilkins Township. I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Patterson for applying for the board appointment. And I'm happy that the majority of the board made the right decision and voted in favor of his appointment. I think that his experience working with children is extremely helpful for a school board member and for the students in the district. So that's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
Thank you for those comments.
Thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to address the board? Please use the raise hand function if you are able to do that. Okay. Hearing and seeing none. Mr. Harris, section 20, adjournment.
Okay, 20.1, we seek permission to adjourn the August 19, 2020 legislative meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hodge. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you all. See you.
Stay safe, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Take care.
Thank you. Good night.